I never believed something as small as picking money from the ground could destroy a life until I was part of the darkness behind it. My name is Chinedu Okafor. I am from Enugu State, Nigeria. What I'm about to confess is not something I am proud of. The guilt still keeps me awake at night. I once served in the kingdom of darkness as a witch, but today I serve Jesus Christ. I am speaking because many people are still falling into the traps we set. If you have ever picked money on the road, this confession is for you. Years ago, I was deeply initiated into a powerful coven. We operated mostly at night, sending spiritual objects into the physical world. One of our most common weapons was something very simple: money on the ground. Yes, ordinary looking money, but it was never ordinary. We would gather in a dark room, chant over the money, and assign a spirit to it. The assignment was always the same: destroy whoever picks it. I remember my first operation clearly. That night, we prepared a fresh bundle of notes and placed it at a busy junction in Onitsha. The spirit attached to the money was meant to steal destiny. The next morning, a young man named Emeka picked it. He was a hardworking trader, newly married, full of dreams. The moment he touched the money, we marked him. Within weeks, his business collapsed. Customers stopped coming. Goods began to spoil mysteriously. He started hearing voices. Soon he lost everything and began roaming the streets like a madman. I saw it happen from the spiritual realm, and I did nothing. That memory still haunts me. But that was not the worst case. One afternoon, we targeted a pregnant woman in Lagos. Her name was Bisi. She was returning from the market when she saw money near a bus stop. She hesitated, looked around, then picked it. The moment her hand touched it, a spirit of affliction entered her body. That night, she began bleeding. She lost her pregnancy. Her husband cried. Doctors couldn't find anything wrong, and their home was filled with sorrow. Meanwhile, we celebrated in darkness because another destiny had been captured. I still hear her cries till today. There was also a university student named Sadiq in Abuja. He picked money on his way to school. Within months, his life changed completely. He became addicted to gambling, dropped out, and later joined dangerous group just to survive. What looked like luck was actually the beginning of his destruction. We controlled his choices. We pushed his mind. We fed on his downfall. You may think this sounds unbelievable, but I was there. I participated in it. I saw the spiritual chain placed on innocent people. The truth is, the money is never placed randomly. Sometimes it is planted at junctions, markets, school gates, hospital entrances, or near ATM spots. We watched who picked it. Once you took it willingly, you gave us access. There was a rule in the kingdom of darkness: the hand that picks it accepts the covenant. I personally attacked men who suddenly lost their job after picking the money. I attacked women whose marriages collapsed mysteriously. I attacked business owners whose shop burned without explanation, all because of ordinary-looking cash. But everything changed the day we targeted a man who was a prayer warrior. We dropped money in front of his house in Enugu. When he saw it, he refused to touch it. Instead, he began to pray loudly. That prayer shook our gathering. The spirit attached to the money returned violently, and for the first time, I felt the fear. That night, I realized the darkness I served was not as powerful as we believed. Guilt started eating me from the inside. I began seeing the faces of people destroyed. I could not sleep, and I could not eat. The kingdom that once gave me power became my prison. Then something happened one night that changed my life forever. We had gathered for one of our midnight meetings. The atmosphere was heavy, filled with strange voices and shadow moving without body. In the middle of ritual, a bright light suddenly appeared before me. It was not like anything I had seen in the kingdom of darkness. The voices around me began to scream. The spirits we commanded started fleeing. I fell to the ground, shaking uncontrollably. A force I could not resist spoke into my heart, exposing every evil thing I had done, every destiny I had destroyed, every family I ruined, every innocent life I attacked. I saw Emeka again, I saw BC, and I saw Sodiq, with many others that I didn't even mention in this story. That was the night I ran. I abandoned the coven and fled to a small church in the outskirts of Enugu in Nigeria. I was terrified because anyone who lives the kingdom of darkness is haunted, but I was more afraid of the judgment waiting for me if I remained there. For days I could not speak. I only cried. Then I confessed everything. The pastor prayed for me for hours. I shook, screamed, and vomited strange substances. The spirits that once gave me power began leaving one by one. It felt like chains were breaking off my body. But deliverance did not erase my memories. It only made the guilt clearer. After I left the kingdom of darkness, I began to understand how deep our operations were. Picking money from the floor was only one of the traps we used, but it was the easiest way to capture many people because it relied on simple human temptation. Let me tell you something most people did not know. Sometimes the money is not meant to destroy immediately. Sometimes it is meant to monitor you first. There was a woman we targeted in Lagos. Her name was Ngozi. She picked money near a market and nothing happened at first. She even used the money to buy food for her children. She thought she was lucky, but a spiritual mark had already been placed on her. From that day, we watched her life. We entered her dreams. We slowly caused confusion in her home. Small arguments with her husband became violent fights. Her business began to fail little by little. Strange sickness attacked her children. It was a slow destruction. By the time she realized something was wrong, her family had already been broken. We celebrated quietly while she suffered, not knowing where her problem started. There was also a taxi driver in Abuja named Musa. His case still makes me tremble. He picked money at a junction early one morning before starting work. That day he had a terrible accident. He survived though, but his legs were permanently damaged. But people called bad luck was a spiritual exchange. His strength was taken the moment he touched that money. I was among those who carried out that assignment. I cannot forget his face. After my deliverance, I tried to find some of the people we attacked. I wanted to apologize to them or beg for their forgiveness, to help them in any way I could. But many had disappeared, some had died, and others had completely lost their sanity. That is when I understood that some damages cannot be reversed easily. This is why I speak now. There are things moving in the physical world that have spiritual origins. Many people are suffering today without knowing the doorway they opened. You may think it is just free money. You may think it is your lucky day. But sometimes it is an invitation into a covenant you never agreed to. And what pains me the most is this. The kingdom of darkness is still planting this trap every day. At road junctions, in front of houses, near schools, hospitals and markets. The operation never stopped after I left. In fact, after my escape, something terrifying began to happen to me. The kingdom I abandoned started coming after me. They wanted me back. They wanted to silence me. And one night, while praying alone, I saw something that revealed their next plan. A plan for more dangerous than dropping money on the ground. That night, I saw in a vision how entire communities were being silently cursed. Not just individuals, but families, schools, even businesses, all subtly manipulated through greed, desire, and temptation. I realized then that the darkness doesn't always attack loudly. Sometimes it waits, watching, testing, and slowly eroding lives without anyone knowing why. I remember waking up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding. I cried to God, begging Him for protection, not just for myself, but for every innocent soul that might fall into this trap. That was the moment I understood. The only way to survive is through awareness. prayer, and immediate action. So here is my advice for anyone watching this. Do not speak money carelessly. If you find money lying on the ground, pause, pray, ask God for discernment. Sometimes walking away is the strongest choice you can make. Protect your home and family spiritually. Pray daily. Declare protection over your children, your spouse, and your possessions. Light is stronger than darkness when you invite it into your life. Repent for greed and temptation. Even minor acts of selfishness can give spiritual access. Confess your heart honestly to God, and He will guide your steps. Be aware of your unusual pattern, misfortune, repeated accidents, or sudden financial losses that seem unexplainable could have spiritual roots. Seek counsel from a trusted pastor or spiritual leader. Help others avoid the trap. Share these warnings with friends, family, and community. Awareness can save life. I tell you this because I have seen what happens when greed meets the kingdom of darkness, and I do not want anyone else to suffer like I have caused others to suffer. I am Chinedu Okafor from Enugu, Nigeria. I am no longer a servant of darkness. Now I serve Jesus Christ. And I promise you this, the moment you choose light over temptation, God will protect you, guide you, and restore what was stolen. Do not take the money. Walk away. Pray and never ever underestimate the power of God to break every chain the darkness has tried to place on your life. Your life is too precious to gamble with a few notes